Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company VetIQ, as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached more than 10 million views.
We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
Over 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 90 days. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Wednesday, March 19th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ plus evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine, happening on Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride and Festival on June 14th. We present Pride Fest in August and Pride Fort Lauderdale in February. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader communities.
In 2025, more than 100 community leader anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ plus community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro. That's Gregg with 2 G's. Don't forget it. He is an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 2 short story collections and 7 books of poetry. Gregg, GMCSF performs at Davie Jazz Festival on April 5th. Tell me what's happening.
The 2025 Davie Jazz Festival is set to light up Bergeron Rodeo's grounds on Saturday, April 5th from 6 to 10 p.m. in the town of Davie, Florida. Music lovers can enjoy performances from Felicia Ray and Jacob Webb, Lisa Richards, Althea Renee, and Joel Dennis. The night will also feature a special performance by the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. Tickets are available in advance for $35 for general admission and $65 for VIP, with prices increasing to $45 and $75 on the event day. VIP admission includes reserved seating and 2 drinks. This highly anticipated jazz celebration promises an evening of soulful melodies and vibrant performances. For tickets and more details, visit gmcsf.org. Well, I was at the Bergeron Rodeo grounds in February, not at a rodeo, but I was there for the South Florida Folk and Acoustic Festival, and it's a really cool venue. I'd never been there.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting. It's because it's kind of outdoors, it's covered, but it's kind of open, so it'll be really cool to hear music in that setting.
Yes.
So congratulations to Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida for scoring this gig and for being on the event for this groovy bill.
Right, and what an incredible list of performers, right? Like every single one of them, more amazing and more amazing. I personally, my favorites are Lisa Richards and Althea Renee are 2 of my faves. And I mean, I could just imagine those voices just carrying through all that site, you know? And like we were saying about Bergeron, I was there for wrestling. Okay, think about that. I went there for wrestling. Okay, yeah, I was the ring girl. It is what it is. You know, you got to pay for your rent sometimes, all right? Anyway, but the space is fantastic
really
for
cool.
that. It calls for that
Absolutely.
because, like Gregg said, it's covered, but it's still open space, you know? And the weather's perfect for that.
Exactly.
Right? So get those early tickets for 65 bucks.
mean,
You
right?
get 2 drink tickets too, like, and you get like assigned seating. Like, come on.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you think about the cost of the entertainment they have. I mean, it's really. I mean, you'll spend more than that just at dinner.
It's true, honey. You're absolutely right. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing to Queer News Tonight. And we look forward to seeing you at the Davie Jazz Festival. Next up, let's welcome my brother from another mother. He's Vaughn Biggs. He's the Community Outreach Coordinator at Holy Cross Health. He is also the Vice Chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council and a founding board member of Trans Ed. Hi, Francesca. So, Vaughn, the Pride Center hosts Trans Day of Visibility on March 31st. Tell us what's happening.
That's right, Faye. On Monday, March 31st, the Pride Center will host a special Transgender Day of Visibility event from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. organized by the Trans Inclusive Group, the McKinsey Project, Trans Social, Ariana Center, and community partners. The gathering aims to celebrate and uplift the transgender community. Attendees can enjoy food, entertainment, and advocacy in a welcoming space. The event promises inspiring performances and speakers, with more details to be announced soon. Everyone is encouraged to join in solidarity and support of our transgender rights and visibility. For additional information, visit pridecenterflorida.org. You know, I've been at this event several times. Holy Cross, we'll be tabling there. It's such an important day to be there to see them. You know, they need more than one day. We say that about everybody needs more than one day.
Yeah.
But it's a very moving event. The ones I've been to, just to be able to see everybody, the people that they've lost, to recognize them as well, to see their presence, that they are valued as I say, my siblings, because you know, they're just wonderful people, and it's just a matter of giving them the opportunity to shine.
Yeah.
And I just love that. And Faye, you're hosting.
I am.
Right?
I'm hosting. I'm actually hosting for a 3rd year, Vaughn,
Yes.
which is like such a blessing, you know, as a cisgendered lesbian, right? To allow me to host her event. Like, I can't tell you how humble I am about that. And, you know, I've learned so much from these ladies, especially, right? Tatiana, you know, Tatiana is just an incredible voice. You know, she's a mentor. You know, I always want to see what she's doing next, right? Because it's like incredible. Adriana Tender, who works for Tatiana, is one of my closest friends. And, you know, a couple of years back, when, at least from my seat, I felt that the target was getting bigger and bigger on our trans siblings, right? I said to the girls, like, what the hell can I do, right? And literally went with my shoulders up and was like, what the hell can I do? And they were like, don't worry, girl, we'll put you to work. And then but that's the point, right,
course,
Gregg? Like, you know, if you don't know what to do, you
That's
ask
right.
and you see what you can do.
That's
Maybe you could cover the water or the drinks for the event. Maybe you can cover their next event, whatever it is. You know, it's no secret that our trans siblings have the biggest target on their backs, and Trump has started that. You know, the misinformation, the crap that they have said about people that are less than 1% of the population.
Right.
You know,
Although what's
lot of
nice is
energy.
that at that night, you don't think it as 1/6.
No.
It's
Wow.
so well attended.
No,
it's amazing.
So well attended, you know,
Yeah.
and now understand that there are 2 big events when it comes to the trans community that you should be a part of, right? We have Trans Day of Remembrance. That's TDOR, right? And that is to remember the trans folks that we have lost, right? Due to hate crimes, due to just horrific conditions, right? That is TDOR. This is TDOV. This is Trans Day of Visibility. This is when we celebrate the accomplishments, where there is spoken word, there is dancing, there is lip syncing, there is drag, there is testimonials, there's a little bit of everything, you know, plus incredible food. And I mean, it gets no better than that. So Monday after work, jump in your car, head on over to the Pride Center. We're going to be there from 6:30 to 8:30, having a great time. And I expect all of you boys there. Buddy, you too.
I will be there.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. And we look forward to seeing you at the Pride Center for Trans Day of Visibility on March 31st. Next up, let's welcome anchor Buddy Frey. He supports many of South Florida's local nonprofit organizations like JFOY, Julian's Fountain of Youth, and the Stonewall National Library Museum. Buddy, Binglo is coming up. Glow in the Dark Bingo is at the Pride Center on March 29th. Tell me what's happening.
I'm glad you asked. The Pride Center is hosting Binglo, a glow-in-the-dark bingo experience on March 29th from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. Doors will open at 1 p.m. with 3 exciting rounds of bingo in a low-lit, backlit room for unique gaming experience. For $15, attendees receive entry, 2 beverages, soft drink, water, or an adult drink, light snacks, and 1 bingo card per round. Additional cards will be available for a purchase. Casual attire is encouraged. All proceeds support the Pride Center's Florida AIDS Walk team with a goal of $400,000. Parking is open except for reserved spots. Spend your Saturday afternoons with fun friends and a great cause. Visit pridecenterflorida.org for more details. Well, it sounds like it's a good time. I'm glad it's a short event because there's just so much going on in the world right now. So it's good to get the little push in there.
Of course.
And it's great to support the $400,000 goal. I mean, every penny helps. But I can only imagine what people are going to wear because it's glow in the dark.
Oh my God! But I mean, you wear something fluorescent, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
No,
again,
but
like
that's what I'm saying.
Like if you want to feel like you're at the Eagle past midnight, right? Then wear black, and then that's that.
No,
you know
but
what I
I'm
mean?
just
And you
saying-
like bump into somebody. Oops. You know.
I'm just saying, it'll be fun to see who wears what day glow and what are they accenting and how it
day glow
looks.
paint for your
Exactly.
face,
Yeah,
too.
fluorescent shirt.
I just wish I was better at bingo than I am because it sounds like so much fun, but I'm just too easily distracted.
Are you
I can't.
serious?
There's too many cards and there's dots and there's numbers and
ADHD.
Imagine $400,000 in a low-lit back room of glowing balls. I mean, how can we go wrong
It
with
gets
this?
no better. That's how I want to spend my Saturday afternoon. All right, glowing balls, 2 drinks, $15, some Binglo.
Right.
I don't think it gets any better. All right. Big shout out going out to the Pride Center for putting this together because this sounds like a lot of fun. So turn off all those lights and get ready to play Binglo.
Yes.
Listen, and I'm that person that has like the trolls in front of me.
Yes.
I've got my
Yes.
colored.
You have Lucky
I
Charms
don't
and-
play around. Like Greg, you don't play, and I get like you can't stick to
Have you
one
won?
card. I have like 10. I'm like,
no.
no.
Got a little wand,
I
you know,
have
to shake
to.
over
I
everything.
wish I
Yeah.
Yes,
Good.
and if somebody like calls bingo and they didn't really get it, I go over there and knee them. That's it. So don't do it, right? See you at the Pride Center. That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing to Queer News Tonight. And we look forward to seeing you at Binglo, Glow in the Dark Bingo at the Pride Center.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out, the FayWhat Show. Faye, Naked Guy Crocheting pilot tapes live on March 23rd. Tell us about it.
So Wilton Manors is set to host a one-of-a-kind comedy experience with the pilot taping of Naked Guy Crocheting by Peter Basuito on Sunday, March 23rd. That's this Sunday, March 23rd at 1 p.m. This outrageous and hilarious talk show promises a unique blend of comedy, conversation, and crocheting. The live studio audience will gather at Hunter's nightclub to witness the show's debut, filled with unexpected laughs and quirky entertainment. Tickets start at just $25, offering fans a chance to be part of television history while enjoying a ridiculous yet unforgettable afternoon. More details are available at mybigfunnypeter.com. I just wanted to extend my condolences to Peter Basuito. Peter Basuito unfortunately lost his mother recently, like yesterday, I want to say, right? And, he is still having the taping to his pilot on Saturday. He feels that his mom would have wanted it that way. And I was blessed enough to meet his mom at the opening of his movie, his short movie called I Remember. And what a foxy lady, right? What a light. And now I understand why he wants to still film this pilot on Saturday. And it's going to be fantastic. He's got the guy from Sordid Lives, Del Shores. He was the writer and the director as his very first guest. And so if you've never heard about Naked Guy Crocheting, he literally is naked, crocheting, answering questions from the audience, interviewing this gentleman. He'll be doing that. Jennifer McLean is going to be singing as well. So it's going to be an awesome taping and, a time to remember for sure.
Peter Basuito always brings the laughs and the yarn. That's quite a combination. Yeah.
I'm going to have to take him out for his caftans, I love a good caftan.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
I know
yes.
you do.
Yes.
I know you do.
Yep.
And something else about Peter is that like everything that he sells and he crochets, he does sell it, and a portion of it always goes to dog rescues because he's a big dog lover as well, And Peter was actually supposed to be at the table today. Unfortunately, with his mom's passing, he could not be. But I mean, we wish him well. It's going to be a fantastic taping on Saturday. I got my VIP tickets, and it's going to be awesome. And then to have Del Shores there, like that was out of like left field, where I was like, cult classic, baby.
That's right. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media company platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Naked Guy Crocheting Pilot on March 23rd.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up the USA view. Harvey Fierstein, banned from Kennedy Center, says, wake the hell up. Legendary playwright and performer Harvey Fierstein has revealed that he has been banned from the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington, D.C., following what he calls Donald Trump's takeover of the cultural institution. Fierstein, 72, known for Kinky Boots, La Cage aux Folles, and Torch Song Trilogy, shared a fiery statement on social media condemning Trump's actions. He mentioned works like Hairspray and Safe Sex that are no longer welcome at the venue. Fierstein warned, quote, the shows I've written are now banned from being performed in our premier American theater. This is not how it begins. This is how freedom ends. Trump may have declared woke as dead in America. We must prove him wrong. Wake the hell up! End quote. Fierstein's post, accompanied by a photo of him with trans activist Marsha P. Johnson, drew support from celebrities and fans. Many noted the significance of Johnson's image, as references to trans figures have recently been erased from the Stonewall National Monument website. With Trump targeting LGBTQ rights and cultural spaces, Fierstein's ban is another sign of the escalating fight over free expression in America. When you think of Harvey Fierstein, I mean, what a trailblazer, right? Like, I mean, at least from my seat, like when I think about, he got a Tony for La Cage aux Folles, right? And then, that's Birdcage, right? To me, right? Okay. Mrs. Doubtfire. Right. That was when I first, grew up seeing somebody, a man dressed in woman's clothes, and there was nothing wrong with it, Kinky Boots. Do I have to explain that? You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is like kind of the movies and the musicals that kind of made up my gay life, you know what I mean? Our gay lives, and then to see like mainstream support these movies, right? Kind of gave us like the thumbs up that like it's okay to be gay, kind of, This man is a living legend. Living iconic legend. So to be banning him and all his work from the Kennedy Center is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, wake the fuck up is more like it. Did you see the press conference where Fearless Leader is standing in one of the opera boxes and he puts his arms up like Eva fucking Perón? I mean, what is wrong with this man and his taste in entertainment? Imagine what he's doing at the Kennedy Center, and do not be surprised if his plans for the Kennedy Center include Nazi rallies, because that's probably on the books.
Well, I mean, he's made himself the chair, right?
Yeah,
he is the chair now
course.
of the Kennedy Center. Buddy, what do you think?
But no, my point is that Harvey Fierstein took it away from being a gay genre to an American genre.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
100.
He was the first, he wasn't the first. There were a lot of people that were working hard on, but it's every single one of his successes opened the door a little wider and became more American rather than just, it's a gay show.
Yeah. 100%.
So, I mean, it's ironic that something as American as that is now being relegated to the dustbins, and
his work is significant. I mean,
so we have to fight.
Trilogy.
So we have to fight hard.
Yeah.
We have to go out and we have to request the movie from all the different Netflix and Showtime, and we have to flood the media with wanting to see that show. And also for the younger generations, we have to do our homework to understand what life was like back then, because his portrayals, while they were comedic, were very true.
Yes.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So it's American history that we're talking about.
Well, I'm happy that he's speaking out. I'm happy that he's letting people know that he's pissed. That picture of him with Marsha was
is important.
Wow, so important, buddy. But also, I was like, look at his experience, look at his past, look at the history that he's lived through. He's not going to stay quiet.
No, read his memoir.
Yeah.
His memoir is amazing. And I'm blown away by what this man has been through in his life.
Well, I hope this is not the last that we hear of him, because we need you screaming as loud as possible, and we all need to be screaming with you, Harvey, for sure. That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up health. Trump's HIV cuts, a dangerous setback in the battle for health. In a move health experts warn could undo decades of progress in HIV prevention, the Trump administration is allegedly preparing to eliminate all federal funding for domestic HIV programs. The decision, which could be announced any time in the coming days, would shut down the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's HIV Prevention Division. This will halt all federally funded efforts. Jarer Radavosian, a global health expert at Yale University, said, quote, "This is a dangerous move. Putting prevention programs on hold today means paying a much higher price tomorrow in lives, economic stability, and public health," end quote. The cuts, which are part of a broader restructuring effort, would have severe consequences for organizations like the LGBT support centers, which rely on federal funding to offer HIV testing, pre-exposure prophylaxis, and linkage to treatment. Experts argue that halting HIV prevention now, at a time when the U.S. is on the brink of ending the epidemic, risks reversing hard-won progress. Well, this is just the latest example of Trump's mission to undo progress achieved by previous administrations because he's so jealous that anyone did something successfully. Unfortunately, this is also one that affects so many in our community.
Yeah.
But 47 doesn't care. He's on his unstoppable revenge mission, no matter the cost and the lives lost.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Vaughn, undoing decades of progress.
Right.
How does that wash over you?
Well, it's interesting because we knew this was coming. We heard it was coming as rumors, and obviously it happened. There's food for thought, and that is, I just came back from the HIV Cure Academy that I went to, but the discussion has been, why give, and I've said this when they said insurance was going to be covering PrEP, and I'm like, for how long? I mean, I remember us talking about that going, really? Is it going to be free? And my initial take is they're looking at it as, we need to take care of the people who are living with HIV and get them virally suppressed, to be focused on that versus paying for medication to not get something. Right or wrong, but I think they're looking at, I think what we're going to see is more focus on, I'd like to think, on people who are living with HIV to get those individuals virally suppressed, because that's what's really going to end the epidemic. It's not going to be PrEP that ends the epidemic. It's going to be viral suppression.
But at the same time, there's all of these programs, regardless of what end it is has a target on their ass.
Yeah.
Because I know in past conversation with other anchors who are all in the healthcare community that the biggest portion of PrEP also is aimed at people of color and straight people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the biggest growth, especially in South Florida, is in the people of color and straight people.
Well, we're number
community.
one. We're number one in the country down here in South Florida, and Black women are number one.
Right.
Okay, and people forget that straight people also get HIV/AIDS. It's not just a homosexual disease.
Right. And that's just like cutting funding for children's cancer treatments, or for cutting funding in West Virginia to stop drug issues. It just makes zero sense.
When you talk about and you bring in race into the conversation, then that's where DEI steps in, right? That's where they look at it and go, see, that's why we're not doing this. Is because
but preventative health is so important.
It is.
You know what I mean? And this country does nothing for it, which is why they don't want people taking Manjaro, right? Because God forbid you get skinny and then you have no more high blood pressure and you don't have all these other ailments that you had before, right?
Exactly.
So same thing. Like we do also have to take care of the new transmissions and
Right.
get this education is finally getting to
Yeah.
people. Women are finally understanding that they can take PEP and PrEP too, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, and we're going to undo all that shit now.
Well, and I think back, and I keep thinking back to PrEP originally, and how we had one of our leading healthcare communities took up this gigantic ad in the New York Times saying, when you start PrEP, you're going to increase your risk of STIs. Because that means everybody's eliminating condoms, they're eliminating that risky, what they try to call that risky sexual behavior, because they're on PrEP. So therefore, they don't have to worry about it. And it's like there's so much more to worry about than just HIV, though.
Well, and the other thing that also has me worried is they're erasing us and information and education from all kinds of outlets, right? So now on CDC, we don't even exist, right? But for how about someone that wants to find out? You know what I mean? I might have been exposed, or my partner is exposed. Let me try to get the right facts about HIV and AIDS, and they go to the CDC, and there's nothing there for them anymore.
Right. And that's where they need to build those accountabilities and being tied into medical care. They've got, and that's where we see a lot of problems. People who live with HIV, they say are going to live longer. Why? Because they're in medical care. They're seeing their doctors every 3 months. Most men, and I'll say men, if they're not living with HIV, they're not seeing their doctors until there's something.
So they have to.
There's a problem.
Right, or I'm on my way to the emergency room, and it's like, I've got a heart problem, I got to get a stent, I've got to. That's when they start. I wake up and take care of their health, and that's we need them to start taking care of their health now.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
for sure. All right, well, there's going to be a lot more to this story coming up.
More
all right,
coming, I'm sure.
There is always something taken away, brought back. Information, misinformation. So we try our best to make sure that you get the correct information, so you know what to do with it. Right? Education is power, and that's what we need to, continue to let people know that there's still sources and places to get correct information.
Yes.
Okay. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Vaughn Biggs, and let's queer it politics. Elijah Manley is a young, brash, gay progressive who vows to bring a fighting spirit to Congress. Elijah Manley is Fort Lauderdale's hometown member of the LGBTQ community, now running for Congress. Facing a dire political landscape, the Democratic Party is in need of fresh leadership, and the 26-year-old may just be the spark they need. A passionate community organizer from South Florida, Manley has announced his candidacy for Congress in Florida's 20th district, aiming to challenge incumbent Sheila Sherfilis McCormick. Manley's bid is driven by a desire for change and a deep-rooted frustration with the status quo. He's taking direct aim at Sherfilis McCormick, who has faced an investigation into alleged campaign finance fraud since winning her seat in 2022 special election. Manley believes that Sherfilis McCormick has failed her constituents, prioritizing her legal issues over the community's needs. Growing up in deep poverty and experiencing chronic homelessness as a gay man, Manley understands the challenges faced by most vulnerable in his community. Florida's 20th district is the only majority black district in the state, and Manley's message resonates with those seeking genuine change. Manley's unapologetic, no-filter approach sets him apart as a voice for the younger, more progressive Democrats who are ready to challenge the establishment. With his candidacy, Manley hopes to bring the change many Democrats feel has been missing for too long. If elected, he would be the youngest member of Congress. Hats off to him. He's been an anchor at our table. I just saw him last night. It's so interesting. I think we were talking about this. Sometimes when you see him, he's so shy. He seems very timid. But get him in front of a mic, and the gloves come off. And I'm happy to see that, because so many of us have sat around this table going, what are our Democrats going to do?
Right.
And we need young blood. Otherwise, we're going to sit there and see our 80, 90-year-old congressman sitting up, they're not really doing anything.
God, yeah.
Well, I admire Elijah's pluck and youthful vigor. I hope he can accomplish what others have failed to do before him.
Yeah.
He's got,
Not easy.
It's a big a lot, big thing to work out.
It's a big world. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, he's 26 years old, all right? I mean, but he's got the drive. I mean, first of all, he's got the name, right? Elijah Manley. That's a leadership name if I've ever heard one, all right? You know, I was blessed to meet Elijah a couple of years ago right at this table, and I've been able to stay friends with him since. And he's a great guy, great, you know, great representation, you know, but he don't take no BS.
No.
All right. And like, so he ran during COVID for state representative in Florida. And now he's going after Congress. He's going after that Congress seat. Right. So I reached out to him for a quote. And this is what he said. All right. To fight the corruption and BS coming from the GOP in Washington, we have to first root out corruption in our own party. I'm running against someone who's accused of taking $5.7 million in COVID relief funds and using it to buy a seat in Congress illegally. She's under investigation. And if she's reelected, Trump and DeSantis will waste no time making sure that this seat is vacant. It's time for us to move on from this type of politics. I'm running for Congress because our people need real help, and help is on the way.
Right.
And that right there is from Elijah Manley, all right? Put the quotations on that.
That's his good slogan. It's a great slogan, right? Help is on the way.
Oh my God, we need the young blood. We need all of that. We need his representation. He's a black gay man, and he ain't afraid of Trump.
No.
And that's what we need, you know? And if you see him on social media, you know, he says what we need to hear right now, you know? You know, he's also coming from the angle of like, hey, all you old people messed this place up. Right. And now, you know, now we're left with the debris, right?
Step aside.
But he's allowed to feel that way. This is his world too. We don't know what it's like to be coming, you know, on our coattails, having to be a black gay man here in Florida. Not an easy thing. And what he's been through already, you know, homelessness, food insecurity, you know, these are things you know, being a black gay man, where do we go? You know? So, I mean, he's had so many different things that he can elevate and help others. That can look to him, you know, all of you out there that are like, I don't see me represented. Here's your chance to see you represented. He represents you gay boys. He represents me as a brown woman. He represents all of us. Okay. So back him. All right. And we need to freaking duplicate him. Make eight AIs of Elijah.
Clone him.
Clone him.
Yes.
But it's the truth. We need it. It's the only way we're going to win.
Right.
You know, a lot of the Democrats are freaking bending over like on their back like my dog giving belly to freaking Trump. Okay. You know, and Elijah's not here for that. No, he's not. Anything to say, buddy?
I'm a little overwhelmed with the emotion at the table over it. I've met Manley. I mean, I've met Elijah before at the table here. The district that he's talking about, I actually live in.
Okay.
So I understand his concern about the current representation. My only concern is I don't want to scorch earth. We have 3.5 years to get our shit together as a democratic community, and there's room for everybody at the table, but you can't walk in angry. You have to use that anger in a good way, and you can't scorch earth. So I'm excited, but I hope to God we get enough backing from the Democratic Party with some guidance and some training and some, you know, we can piss and moan and bitch and moan and do all this and be angry and loud like a Cuban. But at the same point, we have to know that this is a unique business opportunity, and we have to build it. And I've met him enough to know that he's got a good heart, a good soul, and he's got a good foundation.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the Democratic community welcomes him with open arms, and we do some real serious working together, because we can't piss and moan about the Democratic Party's failures.
Yeah.
We have to realize our strengths and work within our strengths and grow those strengths, which is Elijah.
Yes, listen, Elijah plays in Wilton Manors. He spends his money in Wilton Manors. He knows who's there. He understands who he's talking to.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
But the district is a district, so there's a lot of different souls in that district.
Very diverse.
It's a very diverse district, and that's my point of we can't go in there scorching earth and saying I'm a gay man, I'm a gay man, I'm a gay man.
Yeah.
We have to get him in office, and we have to get him the right support and the right. Training isn't the right word, but we have to take him beyond his 26 years. Yeah, no,
he's got to have colleagues with him. He's got to have people that he trusts to talk to. He needs mentors. He needs people who have gone through this before.
And that's my point. We have 3.5 years to help him become the next congressman.
He needs some of those old people.
He
Yeah,
needs some of those
so-
old
so
people,
don't
100%.
so
and
don't
he knows
badmouth
that.
us.
Yeah.
That's the wonderful thing about Elijah. He knows that. You
All right.
know? He is very well surrounded with
Yeah.
some good people, and he wouldn't just go in there guns blazing.
No,
kind of
and I
deal. You know what I mean?
And I just hesitated to say anything because I mean I'm more optimistic. I want
Yes.
to see success. I just
Yes.
don't want to scorch the world.
Right.
No, and you're not
We,
being. And
we got
it's-
we got Donald Trump scorching the world.
Yes.
I don't want a democratic version of that because
Yeah.
that doesn't do anything.
Well, and he's also not fighting alone.
Right.
You know, we also don't want him burnt out either, right? Like, oh,
Right.
this is not for me. Let me not follow through.
And
You
I
know
don't
what
want to
mean?
put him on a platform only to watch him fall. We have to have a safety net there.
There's a lot of components to running, and I'm
Right.
almost positive that he's looked at all those
No,
components.
and I'm not saying he
because-
hasn't. I'm just saying in this moment, my take is let's get through the next 3.5 years. Let's do the training. Let's do the SMART campaign. Let's do the support and the safety net. Let's use our old people and our young people, and let's do this intelligently.
Yes, 100%. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Buddy Frey, and let's queer up trans rights. Trans beauty queen Bella Bautista withdraws from Miss Georgia USA. Bella Bautista, a trailblazing trans beauty pageant contestant, has made the difficult decision to withdraw from the Miss Georgia USA competition. She had been set to make history as the first trans woman to compete for the title. Bautista took to Instagram on Monday to announce her departure from the contest. She wrote, and I quote, "It is with a heavy heart I am officially relinquishing my title as Miss Buckhead, US 2025. After deep reflection, I have come to the decision that the organization's affiliations and actions no longer align with my values and my mission for inclusivity and a world free of discrimination," end quote. Bautista's exit is seen as connected to Kim Greenwood, president of the Greenwood Productions, the organization behind Miss Georgia USA. Greenwood is married to Lee Greenwood, a very well-known country singer known for his strong support of Donald Trump. Trump's recent policies have negatively impacted the rights of transgender people, including restricting military service, banning trans women from female sports, and limiting access to gender-affirming health care. This story, I was trying to do some homework before we all started talking about, and I really couldn't find more in depth than what we've been discussing. And I'm torn here because in one moment I don't want her to quit and give up, but at the same time I don't want her putting on a target on her ass any more than it already is.
Yeah.
I don't know what the connection with the Greenwoods is, other than, we obviously know that Lee Greenwood is very anti anything that isn't Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So I can understand her difficulty. I just wish I could be able to ask her more questions and know what, at this late date, why are you being so polite with your retreat? Mm-hmm. And what's going on here, because I think there's a lot more to this, and I know a lot of it is the Greenwood production connection.
Yeah,
For sure.
But I'm just sorry that she's giving up, because I would desperately like to see her fight for that, but I also don't want her life in danger.
Well, this must have been a really difficult decision for Bella Bautista. However, it sounds like the right one in terms of not being associated with anyone or anything connected to that enema nozzle, Lee Greenwood. And for the record, I want to say hi to Ted Greenwood White, who is Lee Greenwood's gay son in Chicago. Hey, Ted. We love you.
Wait a minute. He's got a gay son?
He's got a gay son.
What?
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Look at that. Bella Bautista, like what Gregg said, it couldn't have been easy to make that decision, right?
not at all.
Everybody at the table knows pageant queens, and we know how much it costs to put that together, the blood, sweat, and tears that you and your family and your friends all go through to get you on that stage to get that crown,
Put your soul into it.
So to do all that and then have to say, I have to decline and take that away could not have been an easy decision. I'm even thinking maybe she was threatened or something. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say, allegedly, all right? We don't know for sure, right? But it would take something so big to have to do that, But then on the other side of the coin, like Gregg said, gays in the military, trans in the military, why do you want to fight for a country that doesn't give a crap about you, that wants to eliminate you, that wants to erase you, right? So it's like I'm on the fence where it's like, Bella, you should have just stayed in it and tried to win and be be the first trans person to be Miss Georgia, right? But then the other side is like Gregg said, and like you said, why put the target on your back? These people don't appreciate you. They don't even want you competing. So then why, why do it,
Well, and I look at it and think bias is probably going to be part of the issue as well when you think of the judges. And hats off to you because
You've gotten that far.
You got that far, but you know what? And I'm going to turn it into the positive story, and that is you're focusing on your well-being. Because you may be looking at a hard road if you would have won that title of what you would have to deal with versus...
Especially now.
Versus, take care of yourself because that's what we still need you here.
Wow, that's such a great point.
Right?
This ain't the only pageant, girl.
No.
You know what I mean? There's plenty of pageants for you, right? Maybe right now is just the time to maybe take care of you. Maybe this wasn't the time. This wasn't the title for you, right? Sometimes the universe does for you what you can't do yourself, and... we're all rooting for you. You have all kinds of LGBTQ plus people screaming your name.
Yes.
Bella, Bella. Join me. Bella, Bella, Bella. See? Just saying. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We also thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza here in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ plus and ally community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in both motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor at Queer News Tonight, FayWhat! And on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Gregg Shapiro, Von Biggs, and Buddy Frey. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope that you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, by being transformative and being queer. Good night!
Good night.